Real haunted dolls are a very popular subject because there are so many victim reports that have bad experiences with haunted dolls from all over the world. Several stores sell haunted dolls, and some people have a vast collection of haunted dolls. Such dolls include Robert the Doll, Amanda, Pupa the Haunted Doll, Mandy the Doll, and the famous Annabelle doll currently showcased in the Ed and Lorraine Warren's Occult Museum. Besides these famous names, there are so many others that haunt people terribly. Robert, the Evil Talking Doll. Robert the Doll is said to be one of the most haunted dolls in history. The museum where he currently lives claims that Robert moves around at night on his own and follows you around with his beady eyes. One of the museum rules is, if you don't ask Robert for permission before taking a photo, he will cause misfortune in your life for disrespecting him. Annabelle, the Haunted Doll. In 1970, a mother purchased an antique Raggedy Ann doll as a present for her daughter Donna on her birthday. Pleased with the doll, Donna placed it on her bed as a decoration. With time, she noticed something very strange and creepy about the doll. The doll apparently moved on its own and even changed its position, and much worse, would be found in a completely different room from which it was placed. Donna later seeks the advice of a priest who then contacted expert paranormal investigators, Ed and Lorraine Warren, who after visiting Donna, took the rag doll with them when they left. Annabelle's antics were so bad, she is now locked inside a protective glass case in an occult museum to keep her at bay. It is still reported that Annabelle somehow manages to turn up in the strangest of places. Okiku, the Haunted Japanese Doll. According to modern Japanese folklore, in 1918, a teenager named Ikachi Suzuki purchased a large doll from Hokkaido for his younger sister, Okiku, who gave the doll her name. When Okiku died, her family came to believe that Okiku's spirit was inhabiting the doll and the hair on the doll was growing. The doll resides in Manenji Temple in Hokkaido, where it is claimed that a priest regularly trims Okiku's still growing hair. Letta the Doll, the gypsy doll that cries out "Let me out." Carrie Walton, of Brisbane, Australia, has appeared on a number of television programs with a doll he claims to have found while visiting an abandoned building in 1972 in Wagga Wagga, Australia. According to Walton, he named the doll "Let me out" because of its supposedly supernatural characteristics. Carrie claims that people have seen the doll move in front of them, and that the doll has left visible scuff marks around the house. Currently, Let Me Out is owned by Carrie in Warwick, Queensland. Pupa, the Haunted Doll with Real Human Hair. According to stories published on the internet, Pupa is a doll said to contain the spirit of a dead Italian girl. Pupa the doll was made in the likeness of her owner, a young girl in Italy in the 1920s. Pupa became that little girl's best friend and secret keeper, until the end of her life in 2005. Since then, Pupa has been kept in a display cabinet, which she does not seem to like at all. They often find the doll positioned differently than where they left her. The family who now owns Pupa says objects in the display case where she is kept are frequently moved around. On several occasions, they have heard a tapping on the glass of the case. Upon hearing the noise, they look to find Pupa's hands pressed against the glass. Mandy, the Cracked-Face Doll. Made in England or Germany between 1910 and 1920, Mandy is a porcelain baby doll donated to the Canal Museum in British Columbia in 1991. Mandy is also said to have supernatural powers. It is claimed that Mandy's eyes follow visitors as they walk in the room. The doll gained notoriety when it appeared alongside the curator and donor of the doll on the Montel Williams show. The Doll That Aged. When dolls age, they tend to look quite creepy. Hair falls out, color fades, cracks appear, and, at times, the eyes go missing. It's a natural process that comes with time and neglect. But this doll is different. A couple, who had children, one birthday or Christmas they bought their young daughter a doll. Although the doll had been well played with, it was still in a rather good condition when it was placed in an attic and forgotten about. 11 years later, the family was having a clean-out of the attic when they stumbled across this rather odd-looking doll. The doll was wrinkled and aged like a person does, though much more rapidly. Therefore, it has led many to believe it to be a haunted living doll. The Peruvian Annabelle. The Núñez family, who live in El Callao, Peru, claim to have suffered 7 years of misery at the hands of a possessed angelic-looking doll since it was given to them as a gift. They usually see strange lights, hear weird noises in the house, and the doll apparently moves around the house on its own. And the most strange thing is that the bizarre scratches which often appear on their children. The blue-eyed doll has been dubbed the Peruvian Annabelle by netizens. The Cookie Monster doll and the Elmo doll. In the 1980s, many reports of children having nightmares, brought on by sleeping with a Cookie Monster doll. What got people worried about this was not because the children were having nightmares, but that all the nightmares were the same. They would wake up in their bed in the dark, and see a man in the shadows staring at them. Over the years, this happened less and less. However, children with Elmo dolls are now experiencing these nightmares. Charlie, the haunted doll. Charlie was first discovered in the attic of an old Victorian home in upstate New York in 1968. Charlie was locked away inside a trunk with newspapers dating back to the 1930s and a yellowed piece of paper that had the Lord's Prayer written on it. The family placed the figurine on display with their other dolls and toys. Soon, however, Charlie seemed to move on its own, swapping places with the other toys. Not long thereafter, the family's youngest daughter claimed that Charlie spoke to her in the middle of the night. The parents dismissed the claim, chalking it up to their daughter's overactive imagination. But the little girl and her siblings were terrified of Charlie. They refused to go near it. When mysterious scratches appeared on the little girl's body, the family decided to lock Charlie back up in the attic trunk. Charlie now resides at local Artisan, a Beverly, Massachusetts oddities shop just minutes away from Salem. Swing by and say hello. Ruby, the haunted doll. Like a few of the dolls on this list, Ruby could never stay in one place at a time. Its owners often found the doll in different rooms of the house. What's more, picking up Ruby induced feelings of sadness and nausea. According to its former owners, Ruby was passed down from generation to generation. The doll's spooky origin traces back many years ago to a young family relative, who was said to have passed away while clutching the figurine. After jumping between different family members, Ruby has now found her forever home at the Traveling Museum of the Paranormal and the Occult, where visitors often feel an overwhelming feeling of sorrow from the doll. Amanda. Amanda was considered to be a doll with a lonely spirit who was sold more than 10 times without staying in the same place for long. Many believed that the doll brought bad luck, and others reported that the doll made unusual noises and tends to change its positions of her own. Peggy. Peggy was believed to be haunted that triggers headaches and chest pain and has an effect on those who have never ever been around her. The videos and photos of the doll caused many to suffer from anxiety, headaches, and other mental disorders, and it also resulted in a heart attack to a woman after viewing the online videos of the doll. The blindfolded doll. With its name unknown, the doll was commonly known as the blindfolded doll, with its eyes covered by a blindfold. The reports about the ability of the doll to move around of its own, moving its head from side to side, and that it speaks in an adult woman's voice altogether left the doll haunted. However, many believed that whoever lifted the blindfold was indeed followed by the creepiness of the doll. Harold, the first haunted doll ever sold on eBay. The man who sold this doll on eBay was petrified by its presence. He had bought it at a flea market from a desolate father who wanted to sell the doll because he believed it was responsible for his son's death. He was warned that the doll was eerie, but he didn't believe until he lost his cat, his girlfriend, and started suffering from chronic migraines. He kept it in an armadillo coffin in his basement for a year, from where he could hear the laughing and crying of a baby. He also claimed that the doll seemed to have a pulse. The doll has changed several hands by now. Beware when you're shopping online.